Reading from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Canto 10, Chapter 3, Text 8. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mumucur munayo devāḥ. Sumanāṁsi mudānvitāḥ. mandaṁ jaladharā. Jagarjur anusāgaram. niśīthe tama-udbhūte. jāyamāne janārdane. devakyāṁ deva-rūpiṇyāṁ. Viṣṇu sarva-guhā-śayaḥ. āvirāsīd yathā prācyāṁ. diśīndur iva puṣkalaḥ. The demigods and great saintly person showered flowers in a joyous mood, and clouds gathered in the sky, and very mildly thundered, making sounds like those of an ocean waves. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Viṣṇu, who is situated in the core of everyone's heart, appeared from the heart of Devakī in the dense darkness of night, like the full moon rising on the eastern horizon, because Devakī was of the same category as Śrī Kṛṣṇa. As stated in Brahma Samhita 537, Ananda Chinmaya Rasipratipavitabis Tabir Jaeva Nijarupataya Kalabi Goloka Eva Nivisatya Kilat Mabhuto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. This verse indicates that Krishna and his entourage are of the same spiritual potency. Ananda Chinmayi Ras. Krishna's father, his mother, his friends, the cowherd boys, and the cows are all expansions of Krishna, as will be explained in the Brahma Vimohan Leela. When Brahma took away Krishna's associates to test the supremacy of Lord Krishna, the Lord expanded himself again in the forms of the many cowherd boys and calves. All of them, as Brahma saw, were Viṣṇu murtis. Devakī is also an expansion of Krishna, and therefore this verse says, devakyāṁ, deva-rūpiṇyāṁ, viṣṇu sarva-guhā-śayaḥ. At the time for the Lord's appearance, the great sages and demigods, being pleased, began to shower flowers. At the seashore, there was the sound of mild waves, and above the sea, there were clouds in the sky, which began to thunder very pleasing. Who was residing within the heart of every living entity, appeared in the darkness of night as the Supreme Personality of Godhead before Devakī, who appeared as one of the demigoddesses. The appearance of Lord Viṣṇu at that time could be compared to the rising of the full moon in the sky on the eastern horizon. The objection may be raised that since Lord Krishna appeared on the 8th day of the waning moon, there could be no rising of the full moon. In answer to this, it may be said that Lord Krishna appeared in the dynasty which is in the hierarchy of the moon. Therefore, although the moon was incomplete on that night, because of the Lord's appearance in the dynasty wherein the moon is himself the original person, the moon was in an overjoyous condition. So by the grace of Krishna, he could appear as a full moon. To welcome the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the waning moon became a full moon in jubilation. Instead of deva-rūpiṇyāṁ, some texts of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam clearly say viṣṇu-rūpiṇyāṁ. In either case, the meaning is that Devakī has the same spiritual form as the Lord. The Lord is Chin, Satchidananda Vigraha, and Devakī is also Satchidananda Vigraha. Therefore, no one can find any fault in the way the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Satchidananda Vigraha, appeared from the womb of Devakī. That's part of the purport. Om Agana Timarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Taksur Unmalatam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So last class, Gail, yes, she's here. She asked a question which I hope I will cover today, is if Krishna is everywhere, what does it mean? And can it manifest everywhere? What does it mean that there's a transference from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devakī? What does that exactly mean? So hopefully I'll get to that. And I think it's covered in the second half of the purport. But as usual, I'd like to put this all in context, and greetings from Los Angeles. Having a very nice time here, being hosted by Leela Brindavan and Jamuna Bihari. So fortunate on Friday, less than an hour, 20 minutes away, we went up north to the beautiful ashram of Giriraj Swami outside of Santa Barbara, Carpinteria. And we spent quality time with a very extremely saintly person, and also the wonderful Sanga members, Kalachandji and Shraddhanjali, who've been on this since the beginning. They were also there. We got to spend time to them, and one person who's been basically the manager and everything for that ashram, Kunti. She was a teacher of mine in the Gurukula, and it was nice to see her. Sadhu Sanga, Sarva Shastri Hoy, Sadhu Sanga, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. Just a moment's association with a pure devotee. It can be so inspiring. He's so sweet and wonderful, Vaishnav. So that was nice. Now, to put everything here in context, I think we can go as far as Krishna has now actually appeared in the womb of Devakī, and there's a certain brilliance that's been in prison. So it's Prabhupada said, Jnana Phala says that it's like knowledge that's not distributed. It should be distributed. So this energy should be everywhere. But anyway, it was so effulgent. Of course, Vasudeva, Shuddha Sattvam Vasudeva Shabdita, the consciousness by which one can call Krishna, can achieve Krishna, is called Vasudeva. It's a consciousness that attracts Krishna. Krishna doesn't come to one by seminal discharge. It's a consciousness. It's our consciousness that attracts Krishna. So this is almost Guru Parampara. Vasudeva's consciousness attracts Krishna, and Devaki's consciousness attracts Krishna after being purified of, and this is more in a metaphorical or metaphorical way, after being purified of lust, greed, anger, fear, madness, and illusion. And one becomes free of that by the experience of the material world. Because when we act against our nature, which is to serve and love God, and which is inclusive of everyone, when we go against that nature of selflessness and service, then we disconnect from our eternal nature, and from that arises fear and duality. So the more you independently enjoy above what one's needs to keep the body and soul together, is the degree that it will create a bodily concept of life, which is a source of all suffering, because the suffering is not in you in one sense. The problems are not in you. It's in the body and the mind, which is transforming according to karma. We're just identifying with it in suffering. Prabhupada gives the example. I took a walk with Giriraj Swami, goes for a walk every day, takes his car to Mantasita, which is this is where royalty lives. I mean, but it's a good place. They have like a bike path, so he can walk there. And we took a walk there. And imagine, people have the most expensive car and they hear a crash outside. And they, oh my God, someone hit me. They suffer due to the identification. Not that anything actually happens to them. So it's very, very similar in that way. This identification with the body, which is fostered by the desire to enjoy and control. And the symptoms of that are our lust, our greed, our anger. When we follow these and we follow them, we become more and more in that fearful condition that we are this body and we're headed to non-existence. which is an existential fear that lies on everyone's head to the extent that they're not serving Krishna and doing activities of the soul, and therefore identifying with the soul. To the extent you identify with the soul, you engage in activities of devotion. To that extent, you become free from fear. And the extent that you follow these other activities, it doesn't matter how much you accrue, your enjoyment is doomed by fear. So these things are destroyed by our fear. We come to fear our lust. What has it brought me? Fear our greed. So that fear represents Kamsa, and Kamsa killed those Garbhasuras, those demons that took place in her womb first, who were actually the sons of Kamsa in his previous life as Kalanemi. And then we saw, okay, Balaram appeared, that's Guru. When your fear of trying to be the enjoyer and controller brings you at the point to seeking some higher conception than that, out of that anxiety, then there's Guru, and then Krishna appeared. And when Krishna appeared in her womb, it was so brilliant. And Kamsa even noticed, and he understood this must be, this is the eighth child, this must be my death. I remember that. And then Kamsa, he becomes fearful. Kamsa becomes fearful because he's in this bodily concept of life. And in the verse, it says, one who's in the bodily concept of life, there's nothing but fear. There's nothing but fear. And he's terrified. But he's also concerned for his reputation. And I mentioned this before, that reputation is our most valuable commodity, because our reputation as someone who's trustworthy and kind, our reputation as someone who's competent, our reputation as someone who's productive, it allows us to negotiate this world. And so to actually, you need that. That's your currency. And without that, it's very, very difficult to move in this world. And therefore, there is concern for reputation, and also a spiritualist, because his job is to disseminate knowledge. And to disseminate knowledge, one needs to be trusted. And to be trusted, one has to have a reputation. So one doesn't act for reputation to control the world, but one acts in such a way that he has a reputation, a saintly person, so that he can help others. Help others. If that's your goal, but someone just said something. Bharate bhumate hoila manusya janmayara janma sartaka kara para upakara. Your duty becomes to help others. Your duty becomes to help others, and helping them by giving them knowledge. So you're careful with that. So Kamsa began to fear his reputation. And now he was trying to adjust two different material desires. He was on the mental plane. And what the mental plane means is it's when you calculate where your benefit will be. So one's on the mental plane, he's constantly vacillating. Will I be happier here? 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 And you go back and forth. So he's on the mental plane. If I don't kill her, then I have this risk of this child being born that will be my death. But if I kill her, a woman who's my sister, who's pregnant, if I kill her, then there'll be another kind of death for me. My reputation will be ruined. You know, even in the prisons where there's the worst criminals, if someone commits something horrible, like, you know, sexually abuses children or something like that, you know, he's still afraid. There's some principles, even among, you know, those who are selfish and narcissistic, there are some principles. So Kamsa had to be a little bit concerned with this reputation. So he was going back and forth, and he said, probably in this case, best to let the child be born, and then let me deal with this. Let me deal with this, but not when she's pregnant. Anyway, that was his calculation. And I made a statement in last class that it seems that Kamsa was against abortion. Or he understood that you'd be killing the child, that the fetus was a person. So, then the demigods come and they offer prayers. They want blessings. And then there's a description, which I'm not sure if we went through, but it's about Krishna's birth and how everything became auspicious. Yeah, everything became auspicious. And it's described that there's something special, and there is a science in the world of omens, that things around one and things that happen to one have an indication of what karmically will happen, good or bad. So there's good omens and there's bad omens. And so something very good is about to happen. So there's indication that it will be. And those indications will be is so many auspicious signs, peace and prosperity all of a sudden, because rivers that are flowing so beautifully, and lakes with lotuses and fragrance, and the forest and the birds singing, and the flowers blooming, and the peacocks chirping, and the wind carrying the fragrance and the pleasant breeze. So we can take our minds back to Vrindavan, and everything is becoming so auspicious. I don't want to portend bad news, but there's so many inauspicious signs. So many inauspicious signs. Krishna doesn't like to enjoy, here, the weather here is, you can't, I mean, LA, I thought it was going to be hot. I haven't been in LA. I don't have air conditioning. I don't need air conditioning. It's just absolutely pleasant. But the crime is just overcoming the city. You can taste the grain. You can taste rice. You just need a grain to see how it's cooked. Javuna was looking outside his window, and someone was stealing his mail. And then Vraja Gopi, came to see me yesterday, and she told me that in the temple, one of the ladies was parking, driving into the quarters where the apartments were, and two people came out with a gun. Give me the keys to your car. Those are bad things, but they're inauspicious, and they don't portend well. So this is what we want. Previously the rains would fall at night on regular times. It's so auspicious for farming, literally. Anad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anasambhava. All living beings subsist on food grains, and food grains come from rain, and rain comes from sacrifice. So Krishna is appearing so auspicious, and then they are doing these yagyas in the house, and the Brahmins were terrified. But now, they're doing a little, but the fire was burning. And I told you we did a yagya in my courtyard in Vrindavan for the welfare of all the devotees in Ukraine and Russia, that they should not be harmed or disturbed by what's going on in that region. And I like the priest, the grandson of Prabhupada's first disciple, Acharya Prabhaka, and I like his mood. He says, I'm not doing it for Ukrainians, or I'm not doing it for Russians. We're doing it for the welfare and benefit of all people involved, that the devotees should be protected. And I know, because that fire was right in my house, and they burned it all night. And then in the morning I saw it, and I saw it the next morning. It lasted for 24 hours. Some kind of auspiciousness was there. And the Brahmins were no longer distressed, and you could hear their loud vibrations. I'm thinking of walking, can't wait to get to Vrindavan, barely wait. Walking in Vrindavan, just walking in the morning in Vrindavan, and just smelling the incense. It's completely dark out. I'm walking around Vrindavan and smelling the incense, and hearing the people waking up to kirtans in the distance. How auspicious. How auspicious. And the weather was just perfect. It was cool, Prabhupada said, but not chilly. The perfect weather. And it was so pleasant. And then the demigods became very jubilant, and the Gandharvas and Kinnaras, they began to sing auspicious songs, and the siddhas and charanas offered auspicious prayers, and the vidyadharas, along with the apsaras, began to dance in jubilation. The vidyadharas especially are percussionists, and the apsaras are dancers, and the Gandharvas are singers, and the siddhas and charanas, they're pandits, and they're offering prayers. And the atmosphere is just becoming so auspicious. We create auspiciousness by the holy name. I see that when I'm in New York. I remember 30 years ago, there was hardly any devotees, and I went out with, I think it was Prem Bhakti Marg and Gandiva, these two wonderful ladies that were preaching there. And I remember Purnachan Goswami at that time, it was a brahmachari. We went out on Fifth Avenue and do kirtan. And what is Fifth Avenue? It's surcharged with opposition to spiritual life. Everything is advertising that you are the body and you should be disconnected from the soul. And that's where your happiness lies. And it's so powerful when on Fifth Avenue and all the cars are moving with that objective. People are picking up taxis to go where, to go do this and that. It's not smelling incense. It's not hearing kirtan. But I remember the kirtan. Purnachan Goswami is so expert. The kirtan and the sincerity of the kirtan. And all of a sudden, it seemed to overtake the city as far as we could see, the high skyscrapers. It had such a potent effect. That creates auspiciousness. And of course, the greatest auspiciousness is having faith and nourishing your faith and being circumstances that increase your faith. Faith is everything. Faith is your goal and your realization of the goal. The goal is sublimity and your realization of that sublimity and putting you in the right direction. The whole city was going in the wrong direction, but this was moving in the right direction. So this is so auspicious, the sounds and the jubilation and the happiness. What is that? Yagyashashtasana shanto, muchante sarva-kilbashai, bunjate te tutem papam. No. No, that's not the verse. There's a verse which describes how the world works. Nayam lokas te yogyasya kutanya kurusa. Without sacrifice, there's no happiness in this life or the next. So when you perform sacrifice, there is reciprocation from God, materially and spiritually. There's reciprocation. God wants sacrifice, so he rewards sacrifice. Yagya shishta shana shanto, muchante sarva kilbashai. Don't remember it. Anena prasavishyatvam. It gives auspiciousness. It gives auspiciousness. So that's being described here. And now today's verse, the demigods become jubilant and they begin shower flowers and the clouds gather and there's mild thunder, sounds like ocean waves. And then when all this happens, like the full moon rising in the east, now Krishna appears. Now Gail's question. And I think the purport's going to deal with it in one sense. But first, I mentioned this before. Prabhupada once asked Brahmananda, what's the most important verse in the Gita? And, this is not an absolute answer in one sense. It's Prabhupada, it's context relevance in terms of what his objective and what he's thinking. But he did say, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvataha taktvadeham punajanma naitimam etisar. One understands the transcendental nature of my birth and appearance, he doesn't take birth. So Krishna's birth is not going to conform to the laws of nature. And in other words, his determination is an absolute fact. For example, it's described that, Krishna walked in one day from Vrindavan to Govardhan to take out the cows, or from Nandagram to Govardhan, he walked every day. It takes 30 minutes, 40 minutes from Nandagram to Govardhan. It takes 40 minutes by car, 30 minutes by car. So how long would walking take? If Krishna walked there and walked back, how is that possible? And the fact of the matter is that Krishna has inconceivable potencies. And therefore his determination is the fact. He's not subject to laws. I wish this, wasn't so long. No, if I want to be there, I'm there. And I've walked the whole way at the same time. So his determination is an absolute fact. Krishna's determination is an absolute fact. And how that determination moves is not quantified by us. It can be both. It can be by consciousness and it's transfer. I always tell that story that, we were the first persons in Vrindavan for higher education. I was one of the first trustees of the Vrindavan Institute for Higher Education. There was no higher education in ISKCON. And therefore, we were the first ones to systematically study the Gita. And because I was in Vrindavan and it's a spiritual world, would mean, people don't have jobs, just chanting here by inconceivable potency, or, it's in one sense, especially the devotee community, that when when I was able to hold a Gita class every day. And I remember one time in 18 weeks, I covered the Gita. One time in 18 days, we knew this text so thoroughly. I could a whole chapter I could just summarize in one class. And I was giving class, and this Pandit, who was actually working for me and teaching Sanskrit, he's one of the foremost Sanskrit scholars, Pandits in the world now, Satyanarayana Baba. And at that time, I was giving him shelter so that he could, I gave him a room and, board, and he just would teach a few classes in Sanskrit. So he was walking by and he stopped in the classroom and he listened to my class, and I was speaking on the 9th chapter. And after the class, he said that he was really like my class. He really liked my class. And what he said was, he really liked my class. And what he said was, yes, you've understood that Krishna is everywhere without defect. And that was my analysis, because there was a verse that Maya tatamidam sarvam jagara vyakta murtina. By me and my manifest energy, I'm everywhere, but I'm not in them. He's everywhere without the defect of impersonality. And then there's the other verse, but although I am them, I'm not burdened. He's everywhere without being burdened. And then he says, I'm seated udasina vat, like neutral. So even though I'm completely responsible for everything, Krishna is everywhere without defect, without the defect of responsibility. It gives the example of a judge. You die, you're rewarded, but he doesn't become affected by that. He's neutral, even though he's all powerful. So Krishna is all powerful, he's everywhere, but without the defect of impersonality, without the defect of being burdened, without the effect of being karma. And then the next verse is, Mayad yakshena prakriti suyata sa chara charan. That his determination is an absolute fact. Mayad yakshena, where he glanced, it's an absolute fact. So that's Krishna's birth. He's transferred. He's transferred from the mind and things, but it's not just, there is something that's transferred. And what's transferred is Krishna. At the same time, Krishna is there in everyone's heart. But just as Krishna is everywhere, but he moves from one place to another, so Krishna is everywhere. So he moved from Devakī to, in a subtle way, just as with seminal succession, it's transferred. So something was transferred. Something was transferred. Why? Because that's what Krishna wanted for the Leela. That he appeared, manifest in a very subtle form in Vasudeva, and then he was transferred in a very subtle form. Was there transference, or was there just, some inspiration? No, there was transference. Why? Because that's what the Leela says. And is it possible? Yes. Because that's what Krishna wants. So Prabhupada, now let's see how he discusses it. He says, those who are in full knowledge that the appearance and disappearance of the Lord are transcendental, janma karma chmedevam, are sometimes surprised that the Supreme Personality of Godhead can take birth like an ordinary child. Actually, however, the Lord's birth is never ordinary. So he takes birth like ordinary, but it's not ordinary. So he's transferred like it's ordinary, but it's not ordinary. The Supreme Personality of God is already situated within the core of everyone's heart as Antirami, the Supersoul. Thus, because he was present in full potency in Devaki's heart, he was also able to appear outside of her body at the same time. One of the 12 great personalities is Bhishmadev, Swayambhur, Narada, Shambhu, Kumara, Kapilo, Manu, Palado, Janaka, Bhishma. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1942, Bhishma, a great authority to be followed by devotees, says that the Supreme Personality of God is situated in the core of everyone's heart, just as the sun may be on everyone's head. So the sun is in one place, but he's everywhere. So Krishna is in one place and he's also everywhere, but he's also in one place. And that one place was the mind of Vasudeva. And that one place was transferred to Devakī. Yet although the sun may be on the heads of millions and millions of people, this does not mean that the sun is variously situated. Similarly, because the Supreme Personality of God has inconceivable potencies, he can be within everyone's heart and yet be situated variously. The Lord is one, but he can appear in everyone's heart by his inconceivable potency. Therefore, although the Lord was within the heart of Devakī, he appeared as her child. So he was there, but he also appeared as her child. He was there, but he also came from Vasudeva. The Brahma Samhita confirms that the Lord is situated even within the atom, adhantara, sta, paramanu, chayantara, stam. He is situated in Mathura and Vaikuntha and in the core of the heart. Therefore, one should clearly understand that he did not live like an ordinary child in the heart or the womb of Devakī, nor did he appear like an ordinary human child, although he appeared to do so in order to bewilder asuras like Kamsa. The asuras wrongly think that Krishna took birth like an ordinary child and passed away from the world like an ordinary man. Such asura conceptions are rejected by persons in knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ajopi san abhiyatman, bhutanam ishvaro prisam. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is Aja, unborn, and he is the supreme controller of everything. Nonetheless, he appeared as the child of Devakī. This verse describes the inconceivable potency of the Lord, who appeared like the full moon. Understanding the special significance of the appearance of the Supreme Godhead, one should never regard him as taking birth as an ordinary child. Okay. Jamunajai, you share something, and then we'll go to Gail if you're still there.
Yes, I'm there, Raj. I can't wait to hear the Gail report on everything. But I really love something that you said at the very beginning.
Encourage her.
It's Gail's special potency. I love something you said at the beginning of class, and let me read it. To the extent that you identify with the soul is to the extent that you are not fearful. And I love that point so much, because the opposite, the extent that you identify with the body, you are fearful. And then this play of how fearful Kamsa is. So I love that thing of that. If I identify with the soul, I am a biome. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it tells us in the chapter about the first quality of the divine is fearlessness. So I really love that point today, Maharaj.
Great. Yeah, I like that point too. When something comes a little bit newly expressed, it really becomes. All right, Gail.
Thank you for your encouragement, Jamuna. I think I'm going to leave Catholicism again.
No. You're welcome, Gail.
I was never a Catholic. But anyway, yes, Maharaj, thank you so much for persevering with me with this question, because I finally did get satisfaction. Basically, Krishna, although he is everywhere, but basically he can do what he wants for the fun of it, basically. That's
it. That's it. But when I read the purport this morning, then I thought, yeah, okay, we can make something out of it for Gail. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, anybody else like to share a reflection and just say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hey, Bhakti Devi, Hare Krishna.
How are you?
Yeah. Nice, LA, have a nice day. Have a nice day. I was so much joking with Swami about that. Because we walked, in this Montecito, and this is like one of the richest areas, and we're walking, and everybody's like, have a nice day with the sunglasses.
Well, at least they're pleasant.
I did my New York go to hell. That's how we show our affection. None of this plastic superficial stuff. Okay. Go ahead.
Maharaj, that discussion that you were having about Kamsa being on the mental plane and trying to figure out, what was the best thing for him to do. And I mean, it's like we're all on this mental plane all the time.
Well, when you get more of a spiritual objective, it's a little bit different, because it doesn't matter so much. If you want to go here, you want to go here, and they're similar, you just choose one. There's no problem. The problem is which is better for me. But in that type of thing, okay, this is there, I'll just devote myself to Krishna. What do you want? Just like when I think this lady that donated the land, she became mental, and Prabhupada told her just to put a piece of paper in her hand, yes or no. I forgot. It was something in front of the deities, and it said, yes, sell the land, you know. It's just so much easier. When you're devotional, if it's like this much here and this much here, and I can't figure out, just pick one. Just pick one. It really doesn't matter. The thing is the service that matters. But when it's for our own enjoyment, it becomes excruciating. Should I leave it, 5:45 plane, or maybe I leave it at 8? So I leave it at 8. I get there a little bit this, and we go on and on before then. It was nice being. I don't know if you know this Rajagopi. Mimi. Actually, no. She was at that same Yogeshwar event that you went to. At Hempstead. Yeah, she's really nice. But one thing about her, she's not. Is it frozen just for me or just for you? Oops, 1 second.
I hear you, Maharaj.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she's not mental.
What was her? What's her initiating name?
I'll tell you, Rajagopi.
Rajagopi.
Her name was Mimi before. Her name was Mimi. But anyway, she came to see me. She goes to the full morning program in the LA temple, then goes to work. And then at 4 o'clock goes back and does this. She's really nice. Yeah, it was really nice to see her. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhakti Devi. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, Tota Gopinath here.
And Kishori Radha.
Okay. Now, I guess we'll see you all in a week, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Great.
Okay, great. Okay, anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Yavat Sundari here.
Hey, Yavat Sundari. Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot give my camera because I had a very bad disease. I had corona disease, and it took 10 days for me. Still, I don't have any energy. So I'm really badly, yeah.
Okay. Did you have it before, or this is the first time?
No, this was the first time, Maharaj.
Okay, but it wasn't that serious? No problems breathing or anything?
No, it was okay. I received many medicine because the first day I was really bad. So the doctor came and saw me and put many things in this room, and they did many things anyway. They controlled it, but at this moment the problem is that I don't have any energy.
They gave you medicines?
Yeah, they gave many.
Yeah, because what happens with medicines is generally medicines are poison to kill things. So then they have to be purified through the liver, and that exhausts one. Okay, well, be well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mara. Thank you for the class.
Haribo. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna.
Okay, I see. All right, Devi Shakti, you're there, and then Sri Radhika. Haribo.
Thank you.
Okay. Sri Radhika, Haribo. Nice to see you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thanks for the class. Thank you.
Okay, Devi Shakti, let me see you now.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Okay. Only 2 more weeks and I'll be there.
Yeah, of course.
I'm really looking forward to
yeah, exactly 2 weeks.
Columbia Paradise of Kirtan and that wonderful facade there, and you're going to be overseeing the kitchen now with Lilo's partner?
Yes, we will. Yeah, she's coming with him.
No problem.
No problem.
Are they going to come? Are they going to come a little bit earlier?
Who?
Will they come earlier? Because we're coming on like Sunday night. When will they come? Because
can ask. I will ask them because I'm not sure. I don't know, but I can ask them and maybe they can be before.
You may need, because people are coming a little bit early, so you'll be preparing. You may need help in the kitchen. So see if they come early. It'll be nice. We could also have some kirtans. Okay, good. Okay. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hi, Krishna Maharaj Shirupa. Looking forward to seeing you in the next few weeks.
I saw that picture of Villa Vrindavan with that whole group in ecstasy. And then Kastuba sent me that kirtan of that 8-year-old leading the kirtan from Lebanon.
Oh my goodness, she was amazing. The whole retreat was amazing, but she was phenomenal.
How'd you hold up in the heat?
The heat was a little hard. It was brutal. And then I got COVID when I came home. So I've just been recovering a little bit, but the heat was rough, but it worked out okay.
Okay, well, in Colombia, we regulate the heat. We don't allow it to get over 92.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, great. Okay. Anybody else like to say hello?
All right.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj, it's Gopa. And
Where you
Priya.
headed? To Kentucky?
Yeah, Keisha and Keisha, they're little. Yeah, we're going to Kentucky.
Okay, good luck, huh? Are you going to engage your children in building houses and digging wells?
Yeah, we'll have fun, but yeah, we'll do some work. Yeah. So supposedly it's like flooding there. So New Jersey, it doesn't rain, and Kentucky's like flooding. So it's like crazy. But we'll see.
Is it able for you to go there at all?
I think we'll be all right. Charo didn't say we couldn't come, so I think we'll be all right.
How is Charo, by the way?
He's
how is he?
He's getting around a little now, but I think he was kind of bedridden for like almost a month. But
well,
I think he's back on his property, and he may come back with us and go to Pennsylvania to his dad's, but we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
See you there, Priya. Haribo. Help your father enjoy Kentucky. Okay.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Who else? Yeah.
Maharaj, this is Laja Sheila.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if there might be a possibility of speaking with you by phone soon. It's kind of a private matter.
Okay. You can call me at 11 o'clock LA time. So that's about 2 o'clock there. I can give about 15 minutes. I have a lot to do today. Okay?
Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay, so call me.
Thank
Haribo.
you, Mala. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Garaj, Govindas. Thank you so much for class.
Haribo.
Haribo.
Okay.
Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Narmasaki here.
Haribo.
Haribo. Thank you for the wonderful class.
Okay. Haribo. Nice to hear from you.
Haribo.
Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Govardhan Bhaktullah.
Govardhan, Haribo. When are you coming to India next?
Not soon.
Really? Oh, yeah. I guess your house and the whole thing is being. When is that going to go up, the house?
I think in the month of August. Yeah, next 2-3 weeks.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. We're going to get on with whatever we have to get on with. Haribo. Vancha Kalpa Trivishya.